Welcome to Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly. This is primarily a drone show. We'll be sharing adventures from all over the world. We hope to have interesting guests every week, and we're glad that you tuned in tonight. We'll be flying different drones in different locations. We encourage viewer participation in the chat. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Every week we'll have another interesting guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'll be sharing various adventures by our guests as well as myself. And thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly Live. It's Thursday night, and I tell you, I can't believe it's almost the middle of July already. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July, and our prayers and thoughts goes out to all our friends down in Texas that are suffering from that hurricane. I know a lot of guys took some damage. They lost their power, and Brian Mackey had a tree come right through his roof. It was terrible, the pictures that I saw. But anyway, they're on the road to recovery, so that's a good thing. But anyway, I've been out flying. I got a few flights in this past week. I flew some of the fireworks that were going on in my neighborhood. I put up a couple of videos, and I met a new gentleman, and his name is Joe. And we started talking drones, to make a long story short. And he went out and, bought a DJI Mini 4K. And I offered to teach him how to fly it. And we did. We went down to Mount Sinai Harbor. But unfortunately, he couldn't download the DJI Fly app on his phone. He had an Android phone, and it was somewhat complicated. I have an iPhone, as most of you know. I'm an Apple guy. And but I just let him use my drone. I showed him how to fly. I gave him a 5-minute lesson quickly. And but one thing, he did take the trust test the night before, which was really, really cool. He got trust certified the night before. And but now he got his first flight under his belt with my drone, and he has since already upgraded to a Mini 3 Pro because he wanted that other controller. And I don't have it right in front of me. It's in the bag back there. But everybody knows about the GJIRC. And, so he already upgraded to that with that controller. So I'm going to meet him again Sunday, and we're going to fly in Mount Sinai Harbor again. And hopefully he'll make it out and maybe check on that osprey nest that you guys know I found. But I tell you, before I go on, I got to welcome everybody in, and I really appreciate you all watching this live stream. John, he was number one, believe it or not, and he's one of our special guests. John Gregory, Connecticut Pirate. He's a great guy, and he's a great drone pilot. But he'll be joining us shortly. And then we also have Joe Mazzola of Dreamscapes Aerial, and he's in the back room too. They're both enjoying the shrimp and lobster back there, and hopefully I left enough of it for them. Most of the time I don't. They run out. But anyway, let me get back to welcoming in the people. And Paul Brown, he was number 2, right behind John, and Lee Yellow Rose Jones, he was 3rd. And RJ Ariel Braun Johnson was 4th. But thank you guys for tuning in. Then we got Jody Drone Shots. How you doing? Good to see you. And Angel Drone Guy 42 Adventures. He's watching down in New Jersey. Always good to see Angel. And we got Dusty East Coast Thrills. He's watching down in Florida. And Joey Jaybird Drones. He's watching in Ohio. I like to tell everybody where these guys are from. just to see if I can remember. Sometimes I mess up though. But anyway, and we got Philip Koshak. How you doing? Good to see you. He's watching down in Alabama. So and don't forget to watch his show. He's got a new live stream, the Chat Show, on Monday nights. So I met him at the South Florida Drone Meetup, for the first time, and him and I we ended up driving to the second day of flying, if I remember right, and I got to talk to him and got to know him pretty well. He's a good guy, so. Um, and he's coming back. He's coming back to the fifth annual South Florida Drone Meetup, so that's good. Um, I said hello to Joe, Jay Bird. Yeah, how you doing? And we got Scott. He's watching tonight. Jackrabbit FPV. How you doing? Good to see you. And he's also doing a live stream now on Monday nights at 6 p.m. And it's good to see Scott doing a live stream. So be sure to tune in, guys. Um, the support means a lot. Believe me. I remember when I first started, you figure, oh man, if I get 4 or 5 people to watch, I'll be lucky. But anyway, it takes time, but you got to be consistent. That's why I like doing the weekly live stream. I went to that every other week thing, and I didn't like it, even though we did the Fly for Fun show on the other weeks, which is the show that Johnny Drone Flyer and I do on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. But anyway, let's see. Bob Casey, Big Bob's in the house. How you doing, Bob? Good to see you. He's watching in Western Kentucky. So, and I got to say thank you to Bob because he's one of the sponsors of our South Florida Drone Meetups. He donates these beautiful custom-made wooden American flags that we raffle off as a raffle prize. And Bob immediately agreed to do it again for the fifth annual South Florida Drone Meetup. So thank you, Bob. Really, we truly appreciate it. And Droning with Jamie's watching. How you doing? Good to see you. And Sergeant Rock is in the house. Always good to see you guys. And we got Dominic. He's watching all the way in Australia, Northside Hawk. How you doing, Dominic? And John Flynn's watching up in Michigan, Flying Flynn Media. How you doing, John? Good to see you. And I don't want to go too fast. I'll miss some names. I hate it when I do that. And I don't do it on purpose. And we got Rob Kamada watching. And Rob, uh, everybody knows Rob is one of the best pilots in the country, in my book. And I fly with him quite a bit. And he's a busy guy too. Most of the guys that are still working, they have to squeeze in their drone flights. I'm retired. I can go just about anytime I want, unless I have a doctor's appointment or something like that. But I had the pleasure of flying with Rob and Charlie Mafia and John Olson down at the Patchogue Lighthouse last Saturday, and it was good to fly with them down there. And I'm going to be seeing Rob again on Saturday night because, I told him about this drone show that they're having like a half a mile from my house here at the Tesla Expo, the Tesla Science Center at Wardenclyffe, right here in Shoreham. Sky Elements is going to be doing a drone show. And Rob came up with the great idea to apply for a job, and he got it. So congratulations to Rob. I ended up applying too, but they already had all the help they needed, they told me. But anyway, so I'll be seeing Rob on Saturday night. So, and did I say hello to East Coast Trail, Dusty? Yeah, how you doing? All right, listen, I don't want to leave the people in the back room too long, but I want to bring in John, Connecticut Pirate first. So please give John a warm welcome. Hey, he's still eating now.
Sorry, Ray. I'm almost done. You can just, if you want somebody else come in, there's still shrimp over here I left, so we're good.
I'm telling you, John, I love it. I love the way you get it, the lobster out, and you got the bib.
Listen, you got to eat clean. When I'm in Ray's green room, this is the only way to go. Shrimp and lobster.
Well, thank you thank you for being on the show tonight. I know you're very busy with your company. I haven't even had time to fly with you since I got back from
It's
Florida.
we planned on you and me getting together the first week you got back, and it's just a whirlwind ever since.
I know. And for those
Oh,
that don't know, John is over in Connecticut. So I'm going to take that Bridgeport ferry across, and he's going to pick me up at the Bridgeport ferry dock, and he's going to take me to some secret spots, right, John?
yes, I am. I actually have a list of 6 or 8 that you can choose from, and so I even got the restaurants picked out. So
Oh,
wherever
really?
you want to go, yep. Listen, you are the captain of the ship that day.
Uh, oh, man. I look forward to it, really.
Yeah.
So have you been flying much? Have you squeezed in some flying?
I've squeezed in just a little bit of flying, not as much as I'd like. It's been work's been pretty busy lately, but yeah, I got out with my Mini 3 Pro about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Paul,
Yeah, I know,
hey Paul, how
Paul.
you doing? He's a trip, uh,
I
but
like Paul.
he's so good.
So you
Um,
you did fly, huh?
yeah. I got my Mini Pro 3 out for a while, and that was a blast. I wound up getting uh,
I just happen to have one here.
look at that.
Yeah. So I
Mine
plan
didn't come
on
with that
flying
cool
in there.
sticker on it
This
though.
this is such a cool little drone, don't you think?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I've been, you know what? I love flying that thing. I really do. It's so
Well,
so
this is
easy.
the drone that you were flying the day I met you, correct?
Yep, that's right. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Over at Grumman Park, I was, little put off because I wasn't usually approached by somebody when I'm flying a drone. I'm kind of like, what am I doing wrong? Am I
I
going to get a
know.
ticket?
That
And
was
then I saw
funny.
the front your license plate had some type of law enforcement something on it. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dead. Something's up. I did something.
No, that was good. I was so glad I met you, because
Yep.
you were definitely a gentleman. I didn't interrupt you. I let you get your flight in.
No. Yep.
And then one word led to another, and I told you about all these crazy guys that have live streams about drones, and you immediately started coming into the live streams.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh God, I've been lurking a lot longer. As soon as you told me about it, I think I was lurking that night, just seeing what's. I'm like, wait a minute, there is a whole community out here. What's going on? I got to learn from these guys.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing, Ronnie? God bless America. Good to see you. And Leonard, JSK, good to see you. But over there in Connecticut, what is your like number one favorite spot to fly?
Um, it, our problem is over here. We've got. I like lighthouses. I really do. But the problem is we've got a lot of airports and restricted spaces near the lighthouses.
Okay.
So you really gotta move around. But there's a place over here in Milford down the street called Charles Island, and I'm sure you're fairly familiar with it, Ray. It's a little spot that's right off the shore. There's a state park there, and it has a sandbar that at low tide you can actually walk out to the island
Oh,
and check it out, see what's going on. And then at high tide, it's just an island. Um,
that's cool.
but yeah, it's really wild. And supposedly Blackbeard buried his treasure on the island somewhere.
Oh, really?
So
Okay. Did
yeah,
did you ever search for it?
as a matter of fact, yeah, a couple of times. But
That is
it's
cool, though.
yeah, it's a neat little place. It really is. There was a monastery or a church out there at one point that burned down, and that's all gone, with the exception of the it's like a bathtub stuck in the ground halfway up, and it's probably 25, 30 feet tall and 10 feet wide, and that's still standing in there. So you could check that out. But it's pretty wild over there.
Well, I look forward to going to one or two of your spots anyway
Absolutely.
when we fly together. Have you been boating? I know you enjoy your boating also. So have you been out there
The-
boating?
Honestly, this year I have not boated for anything this year. It's been tough. There's just so much, well, you know how it is. You get to a point where with work, you just got to roll with the punches. And lately there's been a lot more punches than rolling. So
Yeah,
not a lot of free time, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
yeah. Well, like I was saying, I mean, it's July 11th already. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
The year is just flying by.
Hmm.
It just seems like I got back from Florida, and I already booked my ticket to go back to Florida in November.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah,
That's all right, because I've already booked my tickets for the South Florida Drone Meetup for
I know,
2025.
John. You're on the list. You're on the
Yep.
list. You and Holly also.
Yep. Hmm.
And I mean, it's going to be a good time. I'm not just saying it. It's been a good time for the
Yeah.
past 4 years,
Hmm.
And for those that don't know about it, I think everybody in the chat knows about it. But it's scrolling across the bottom now. We're going to have our fifth annual South Florida Drone Meetup on April 4th to the 7th, 2025, at the Jensen Beach Causeway Park in Jensen Beach, Florida. And it's free to come. Just let me know or let somebody on the drone meetup committee know you're coming. I'll add your name to the list because we do pick a name from the list or number because you get assigned a number and you get a nice raffle prize just based on your position on the list. So, but anyway, I'm so glad you and Holly are coming,
Yes.
John.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
Is
I
she
made sure that I
excited?
put
Is
through.
she
Oh,
excited about coming?
she can't wait. She's all about it. Yeah. Last year she's like, oh no, that's okay. You can. We'll both go down. And at the last minute, we had some family stuff that she had to attend to. I was like, listen, honey, I'll be fine. Don't worry, I'll be good. See ya.
And
I
I
gotta
know,
go.
and you had a great time, right? You did,
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
absolutely. You could. It's funny because like I probably one of the other streams. It's just like all these guys that I see on the computer, watch them all the time on YouTube and this and that. I'm like, wait a minute, he's live. He's 3D. He's walking around. Oh man.
Well, that's the thing. You get to meet the other drone pilots. You talk to them. You kid around with them, and it's just great. I remember my first one that I went to spin up way back. Oh boy, that was almost 4 years ago now.
Wow.
But um, yeah, okay. You were gonna buy a boat, Ronnie? Oh man. Okay, yeah. The first person who looked at it bought it. Just to let you know, he didn't look at it. He looked at it for about an hour. I took him for a little bait, and he called me an hour after he got off of the boat and says, "I'll take it. I'll pick it up tomorrow morning." So anyway, yeah, Ronnie's a big boater, so
Oh yeah,
fisherman, angler. You
angler.
do a lot of fishing in Connecticut, John, or no? Not really.
Honestly, I used to. Used to do a whole lot of freshwater fishing, bass boats and all that jazz, and that was great. And then married life took over, kids, this, that, the other thing, kind of waned off for a little bit. Brought the kids around, got them into it, so they did a lot of fishing, and then wound up getting into saltwater boats instead of freshwater. And I never really picked up saltwater fishing as hard as I did freshwater. Um,
Mhm.
but matter of fact, as I say that, I've got a trip planned to Plymouth, Mass. We're going to go out on a charter boat and do
Okay,
some fishing there.
good.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, I can't wait. That should be pretty good.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't want to leave Joe in the back room too long. I'm going to bring him in now, and I want everybody to give a warm welcome to Joe Mazzola because he's coming to us right from Long Island.
Hey, good evening, Ray. No
Hey,
shrimp or
Joe.
lobster for me. I'm allergic.
Uh,
I
okay.
miss it sorely. I'm
Well,
really glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
no, thanks for being on the show. And for those that don't know, I met Joe because he was the drone pilot that came and did a drone flight for my roof damage. And
That's
then,
right. So, just a little bit about myself to kick things off. I'm also on Long Island, as Ray mentioned. Started a drone business here about 4 years ago, but I've been flying since 2017. Kind of transitioned from solely recreational into professional and recreational drone work around the COVID pandemic. In my business is called Dreamscape Aerials LLC. We work across a range of applications with drones. Um, And one thing we do is work with third parties quite often, one of which being Bees 360. If you haven't heard of them, I like to refer to them as Uber for drone pilots. They send you missions in your area, like roof inspections to do for homeowners insurance, which is what led me to meet Ray. And it was funny because when your name came up, I was like, I wonder if this is the same guy from Long Island Drone Flyers Group. So I set the appointment, get out there to help Ray with roof inspection to assess the damage. And lo and behold, we really hit it off. Got to talk drones for what I think was twice as long as the inspection itself. But yeah, it was good.
No, it was. And, you know, and you were telling me about some of the jobs that you've done and you had lined up scheduled to film with your drone. I was very impressed, Joe. I really was, you know.
I appreciate that. It's definitely been a passion project since I got started. I mean, drones for me were really a creative outlet in the late 2010s, just something I sort of picked up offhand. I don't know about anybody else, but I started with a really cheap one off Amazon. Immediately got it stuck in my neighbor's tree, but that didn't really deter me. Went onto the DJI Spark and just had fun putting videos together, you know, using my music library, syncing things up. And that kind of caused the creative spark. And when COVID hit, I mean, all things were off the table. So just tried to run with it, worked with some other companies to get experience. And now we're starting to get some really cool projects. Just this past month, I actually got to work on a production for the Discovery Channel, which is going to be airing next year. Yeah, it was like right after I saw you too, Ray. I got
cool. Tell us about it. Did you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, or can you tell us?
I did, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
The show is called Mysteries of the Abandoned, Hidden America. I can't tell you what the locations are or share any footage about it yet, but it should be coming out next spring.
Good. I'll be looking forward to that, you know. Hey, I gotta acknowledge a drone celebrity in the chat, and that's Johnny Drone Flyer. How you doing, Johnny? Good to see you. You know.
Hey, Johnny.
And Mark White's in the chat now. How you doing? And we got Warren Akirasho watching. How you doing? Good to see you.
You get a good turnout, Ray.
Yeah, no,
really cool
it's
to
good.
See people coming
and I appreciate it, you know. But I try to put the posts out on Facebook, and it's obviously on YouTube, that I had an awesome show scheduled with two great guests, you know, and it's always good to meet new drone pilots. John's been on the live stream quite a few times before, but now we're going to get to know Joe Mazzola, you know. So what drones do you fly, Joe?
I'm starting to lose count, to be honest. So my primary right now is the Mavic 3 Pro, upgraded late last year, and I'm hoping that doesn't have to go away on account of the impending Countering CCP Drones Act. It sounds like there's some new updates coming out about that. In addition to that one, I'm still flying the Phantom 4 for a bunch of my mapping projects.
Okay.
I've got a Nevada, the DJI FPV I just brought with me on a little vacation up to Lake George. And I finally got around to building my first custom drone. And when I say building, I mean I bought all the parts, and people like yourself, a lot of helpful FPV pilots in the community were able to help me piece it together.
Yes, they are. The drone community is such a great community. Of course, you've got, you know, your issues here and there, but for the most part, you have a question, you just got to put it out there, and guys will be more than happy to help you. You know,
I would say so.
You know, so how do you like flying the Avata?
Oh, I love it. It really helped me bridge, you know, the gap between standard GPS normal modes and sport into acro. Not without plenty of time in the simulator for sure, and reading up on a book to like get used to it. But I really like its performance overall. I don't know if I'd even upgrade to the Avata 2. This the first one, I might be on like my fourth with Care Refresh, but honestly, they're pretty sturdy. You can put a little gimbal cage around the camera to protect the lens, and I love the quality it shoots. Got to do some really great commercial work with it recently too.
And John's got the Avata 2 now, right, John? You've been flying that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I've got probably, I don't know, 6 batteries time under my belt in the beginner mode.
Use the easy acro mode. I heard it programs flips or something like that.
I have not. I'm still in the beginner mode, just trying to get my feet wet a little bit.
And are you using this guy, or do you have the RC for it?
Yep. No, I've been using that.
I love it. honestly, as someone with slightly shaky hands, it goes a long way to keeping you on track.
Does it really? Okay, good deal. Yeah, I can't wait to start messing with it because I've been watching obviously all the drone celebrities and everybody playing with these things, and I'm like, oh, that's great footage. I'm like, oh boy,
Living the
and
dream.
yeah,
You mentioned Sky Elements before with the show coming up at the Tesla Science Center.
Yeah.
We're trying to work with one of the event companies to cover that event, but pretty awesome that they're going to be here doing that.
I know. I heard about it. I marked it down, and Rob was lucky enough to get hired by them. Rob Kamada, he's in the chat.
Yes.
Maybe he didn't want me to share that, but
that's very cool. I wish I could be there. Like, I'd just be glad to check it out. I think I heard they're going to have like the Tesla coil too, like a small version of it. The one that shoots the electric off.
Yeah, they do have a replica type of thing there. Usually, I've been.
They may want to keep that off during the light show. I don't know how that'll work.
A few years past, and it is pretty cool. It's very small though. And then they got the other replica right on the roof of the chimney. Speaking of which, I'll be showing a video about the Tesla Science Center at Wardenclyffe tomorrow, scheduled to be released at 9 a.m. Because they had a fire. They had some fire damage there last year. But this Tesla Expo is pretty cool, especially if you're into that, Nikola Tesla, he was quite the scientist, pioneer in his day.
His legacy really lives.
You guys familiar with him at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to going to it. We really are, And again, if anybody has any questions, put them in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye out. Sometimes I don't even look at the chat. I forget to. And if you guys see the question, just point it out to me.
It's not a question, but Dan Wall brought up an interesting point. The GEP RC Synolog series. Those are some great FPV drones as well for people who, once you get really familiar with FPV drones via DJI, it's a great bridge. It has the O3 air unit built in, and it's a pretty smooth flight. Although I would say the battery life is 3 minutes, but definitely a great drone, especially if you need to keep under the 250 gram weight and keep it category 1. I'm going to be filming the Great South Bay Music Festival next week out in Patchogue. And that's our key to getting some great close-ups of the stage, being compliant with all the FAA regulations, of course.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be cool, man. Filming that music festival. I've been wanting to go to it for many, many years now.
This will be our 3rd time covering it. I'm excited for, a bit broader capabilities. What was really great last year, and something unfortunately they're not bringing back, is broadcasting footage onto the screens behind the performing artists. Last year we were able to link up with the production company there, and if you have a DJI like Pro controller, you'll know there's an HDMI port on the bottom through which you can link and provide a video feed. So I've gotten to do some more live streaming events like that, covered an ultimate Frisbee game for the organization UltiWorld a couple times in recent months too. So for live events, it's awesome. I'm just working on getting those ops over people waivers so we can do a little bit more with it.
Wow, that's going to be so cool, really. Oh, man, and Elevated Vision Air Imaging is going to do the Tropicana implosion. Oh, that's so cool. Really.
And wow.
And thank you for tuning in, guys. Dan, we appreciate it. And really, I have a little format that I go by. I got to write out my little cheat sheet here. And that's every week I do a little tip of the week. It's really nothing sophisticated. But you guys can share it too. But my tip is just check air control before you go and fly. I mean, and sometimes you never know. There could be a car put in place. Just make sure the area you're flying with is legal. You don't need Lance approval or anything like that. Do you guys have any tips to share with the viewers?
I think a common thing I'm seeing is for night flights. We do have the anti-collision lights built in that are ANSI orange and green, but you would do very well for yourself to get a 1000 lumen firehouse beacon. They're $30 on Amazon. A little bit of Velcro tape. You put it right on the top of the center mass. It really helps you at night in terms of keeping track of your drone with line of sight and will make you more compliant. So just an
Very,
idea.
very good. That's a good tip. No doubt about it. If you're flying at night, yep. John, you got anything to share?
Yeah, updating your drones. Whatever you do when it comes to firmware, don't do it when you're going to fly with Captain Ray, because
Yeah, and
do it when you're going to stay around the house for a little while. Try it out first.
unless you have the Phantom 4 for mapping too. If you update the firmware, I believe it'll lock you out of third-party software development kits like Lich
Oh,
or
wow.
anything like that. So probably
Right.
better to get a remote ID module if you haven't yet. I got one through Drone Tag. It was about $300, and it only adds 32 grams to your drone.
Okay.
So pretty
Mhm.
lightweight.
And it works good? Really?
So far, what I like about it is I've been able to use it for any drone. It's not like you can only use the module for one.
Oh, okay.
Right. You can
Yeah.
transfer it. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Al Sergione has one down in Florida on his Phantom 4. And it works good, he said. Hey, Captain Joe. Captain Joe's watching down in Louisiana. That's Johnny's drone flying buddy down there. Good to see you guys. Um, but so anyway, Joe, I know I gave you your personal invitation when you were doing the job here about the South Florida drone meetup, but it's really a good time. We'd love to have you. I'm not trying to put you on the spot on the live
That's all
stream,
right.
but
April 4th to 7th. I could use a getaway around that time. My family likes to go to Florida around March. It's a lot of birthdays. And
I
West
got
Palm,
you.
no less. It's a cool spot. You'd think it would be a little tighter with the restrictions with Mar-a-Lago right there and everything.
yeah. No, I went down there and I scoped the area out where you could fly, but that no fly zone is pretty wide, you know.
For sure.
And I actually took my boat down there when I had my boat, and got pretty close. Took some pictures with my iPhone,
Wow.
and we found a good fishing spot right across the way from Mar-a-Lago. It's like a secret spot,
I found a
And
pretty cool trail near there too. I think it was the Epoxy Wilderness Trail. It's a nice, little bit of forest out there. Good place to jog, fly around, get some good shots of trees.
yeah.
That's
But anyway, we got Ron Lockwood's in the house. How you doing, Ron? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. You know, and oh, what's this? Heading to the disaster area. Okay, you're going to do
Oh,
area
wow.
damage assessments. Okay, for Surfside Beach, Texas. That's a cool job, I guess. Sad, but it's a cool job, Lee. Congratulations.
Yeah, nice job, Lee. That should be interesting for
they
sure.
need more people.
Lee came to the meetup. He's been coming to the meetup for quite a few years now, but he came 2 years ago, and on the second day of flying, he stops and picks up his coffee, and he sees a car show going on in the parking lot. So he approaches the person who he thought might be in charge of the car show, and he says, "You mind if I fly my drone around and get some shots of the cars? Would you do that? We'll pay you." He got a job on his way to the second day of flying.
Nice.
Cool. And I thought that was such a cool story, Lee. So, and we got David watching. How you doing, David? AZ Drone Dude, good to see you.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Yeah, another drone celebrity. Chris Hope's in the house. How you doing? I know you don't know a lot of these guys, Joe, but Chris Hope, he does a live stream every Sunday morning at sunrise. He's part of the Sunrise crew. And on Sundays, it starts off with Charlie Mafia. Used to be Drone Bub, but he moved to North Carolina. And he's in New York at Sunrise flying. And then it goes to Rodney Bell in Virginia. He sends his drone up at sunrise. Then it goes to Georgia, Dennis Lovelady. And Dennis actually plays a ukulele and he flies his drone and he sings at
That's
sunrise for
like
us.
the
That's
combo of
awesome.
skills.
And it finishes up with Chris Hope in Texas. So thank you for tuning in, Chris. Appreciate it. But anyway, that's a long one. Let me read it. Thinking of you, Ray Kelly. I was fishing in the Bighorn Mountains. Okay, Central Wyoming. He's really in a trout. Little Bear was watching. Oh, that's cool. Very cool, Ron. Yeah. Very cool. And for those that don't know it, Ron Lockwood, he's a hunting guide. He's an avid fisherman, angler, and he hopefully he comes to the South Florida drone meetups. He's missed it the past 2 years, but hopefully he'll come back in 2025. Um, but anyway, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. It's hard to do it, guys, and keep the conversation going. Um, but John, do you have any plans to fly in the next couple of weeks, or you know?
Yeah, actually, I'm a part of an association, the Naval Veterans Association down in Bridgeport, Black Rock Harbor down there. So I'm going to do some flying down there. They've got a really nice spot that's right on the water, and you can fly out to one of the small lighthouses out there, and it's pretty wild. It's Ray, you might know Captain's Cove in Bridgeport. It's right next to that, which is obviously next part down from where the ferries come in.
Well,
And,
that'll be
yeah, so I'll
cool.
be down there doing some flying. Yeah, they're a bunch of great veterans down there. The guys are fantastic, and I'm always trying to support them and do whatever I can to help them out.
And
Me
again,
being
thank you for your service,
Oh, thank you.
John.
Absolutely.
I have one of your videos queued up, John. So now would be
Okay.
probably a good time to show it, and then we'll show one of Joe's. And
Joe, don't
hopefully
laugh. Okay.
I don't blow the whole stream.
John, you got to let me know about that meetup. I might take the ferry up.
All right. Okay, that'd be cool.
There you go. And I'll let you narrate, John. Is it
Okay.
playing?
Yep. Yeah, this is Thimble Islands that are just northeast of Brantford, Connecticut, or it's a separate section. It's very exclusive, and some of the houses out there are just unbelievable. I mean, there's 15 to 20 million-dollar houses on an island, and yeah, when you start flying over them, you're just like, wow, this is impressive. And there's always something going on over there. They've got bridges that go from a smaller island to a bigger island where the guest house is. It's just it's a really neat area. If anybody ever gets to go in that area, check it out because it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a
Temple
lot of
Islands
fun.
are cool. They're all cool. I told you about the little adventure I had taking my 15-foot boat over there.
Yeah, boy,
But
I tell you what, though,
hey,
you're probably better off this way because there's so many rocks in there. Oh, it's
yeah.
scary.
I was so impressive seeing those little islands with one house on them, two houses, three houses on them.
Hmm.
What a great place to live, really. We got another
Yeah.
celebrity in the chat, Uncle Bill's Toys. Bill Ronane's in the chat. How you doing, Bill?
Hey,
Good to
Bill.
see you. But it's a great video, John. Really,
Thanks.
great
I
place
like how
to
it's all
fly.
one take, very smooth motions.
I tell you what, it was not easy, and Ed did this with a Mini Pro 3, so it was fairly decent day that day. But yeah, I got a lot more video of it that I've got to edit. It's sitting down and editing stuff is just. I mean, I'd rather fly, obviously, but yeah, editing just takes up a lot of time, and I keep switching programs and software. It's a problem.
I've been
Ray
Well,
persuaded
if
to
you guys want to watch the rest of that video, tune into John Connecticut Pirates YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, do it. Do it now. Don't wait until after the show. You might forget. But that's a great video, John. At Thimble
Thank you,
Island
thank you,
brings back memories.
Joe. What are
Hey,
you using for
Tom.
software?
We got Tom Dowling in the chat. Lens Capture Online. How you doing,
mostly
Tom?
the Adobe suite, working out of Lightroom and Premiere Pro. I've heard great things about DaVinci, but
Mhm.
the drone class I took that helped get me trained up to take the Part 107. I teach something similar now myself. It came with the code, so I got a little student discount and trying to hang on to that as long as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I got to say, I appreciate all the over water flying I'm seeing here too, and clearly a lot of fellow outdoorsy people, boaters. I'm not sure who else has had a mishap trying to catch a drone on a boat. I've only been to urgent care once for that after slicing my
Yeah.
finger open, but stay safe.
Yeah.
Well, I've only tried it once, Joe, and that was out in the Atlantic Ocean off of Palm Beach,
God.
and it was just a total,
Yeah,
almost
you
a
gotta do what you
disaster.
gotta do.
Where I was by myself, I didn't set the controller to come back to the the drone to come back to the controller. So it started going down. I had 3 attempts, and then I did a hard landing right into the drone and into the
Live and
boat.
learn.
And I didn't lose the drone, thank God. But
Awesome.
That's what's
I got a
important.
little nick, just a little minor nick.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've done an awful lot of launching from boats, and I don't know why, but I've been blessed that I've only had one mishap. It was with
Tell
a
us. That's a good story, John. If you don't
it
mind
was with
sharing it, 'cause
no,
I
not at
know
all, not at all. It
certain
was
people haven't heard it.
yeah, it was a Phantom 2, if I'm not mistaken, and launched it off of. I had a cabin cruiser at the time. My wife and I were hanging out in one of the rivers in a cove up here. It was during the week, so there wasn't anybody around. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to fly the drone. She goes, really? You're really going to ruin the day and fly the drone on this beautiful day? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm take off, set it all up. Everything's fine. I come right off the swim platform, go up. I go out, flying around, getting great pictures of the boat. Everything looks beautiful. It's a gorgeous day. The scenery. Start coming back, and I'm like, all right, let me come back. I had whatever the percentage of the battery was, and it was fine. Then all of a sudden, the battery just started going in and out, and then I lost connection to the drone, and the drone started coming back towards us. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to just grab it and be done with it. I'll get cut up, but it's fine. It got to a point where it came over to the boat. I got it just as it started to land on the swim platform. It shoots back up in the air and took off. It was about 25 feet from the boat, and it went right in the water. My wife, now I'm holding the remote because I've got it around my neck. My wife jumps off the back of the boat. She's swimming into the cove to grab the drone. She grabs it like a golden retriever, holds it out of the water, and she's swimming back with it, holding it out of the water. I'm like, honey, you're the best.
That's right.
You didn't marry her already.
Right.
That's a great story. It really is.
Yeah.
And I guess you learned something from that, right, John?
Yes, absolutely. Don't use aftermarket batteries, and make sure you're fully charged. But yeah, that was something else. But now, Ray, I used on my newer boat, I've flown. We used to have a mooring over in Port Jeff, so I would fly out of there and I would fly back towards Port Jeff, to get a different view of it and everything. And that's been, I've done that probably 7 or 8 times, and it always been either hand catching it or landing on a swim platform. So it's worked out pretty good. It's not too bad for me.
Yeah.
But
Port Jefferson Harbor, that's my favorite place to fly. I love flying there. And it's just something about Port Jeff, I guess it's all the boats, the ferry, that statue, the shipbuilder statue,
Yep.
Pirates Cove,
Yep.
Finally got over there to fly some FPV earlier this year. Really do love Port Jeff. It's funny how I'm close being over here in Northport, which I also love, but
nice.
It still takes forever to get to Port Jeff from here. I was there a couple weeks ago for the Maker Fair, Ray. I'm not sure if you heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about it, and you said you were going to do it. How'd that go?
It went pretty well. We had our setup for the Long Island Drone Soccer installation. It's a relatively new thing and the second venture I've started. For those unfamiliar with drone soccer,
what is it? What is it? Tell the viewers.
Maybe I can share my screen to show a little bit about it at some point. But basically, it's an inflatable arena, 20 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet. And what it is basically a combination of Rocket League and Quidditch, where the drones are encased in these plastic globes, kind of look like a soccer ball, and it's played 5 versus 5. One person on each team is designated as a striker, and they're supposed to fly through the opposing team's hoop. Everybody else on the team is clashing with the opposing team to assist or defend. So we thought this would be a good investment to, promote drones amongst, high school, college level education, get it into STEM programs, and ideally be an entertainment attraction. We finally got an insurance policy, which is steep, but, exposure like at the Maker Fair and some other events we have coming up, we're hoping to keep promoting it and grow the business.
Sounds like fun. It's a lot of fun.
Wow.
Really?
Something to get the people interested.
Yeah, definitely.
That's impressive. Never even heard of anything like that.
Let me pull up a link.
Yeah.
It originated in South Korea in 2016, and there is a U.S. drone soccer league now, which is starting to become present in more colleges and universities, but the word hasn't really gotten out yet.
Technique FPV. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. Well, no, I mean it's brand new. Maybe it's going to be an Olympic sport someday. You never know.
If I may, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's see here.
Yep, and I'll let you narrate.
So this was Jericho High School back in March. We did a one-day drone boot camp with them where we taught a little bit about the history of drones, had them do some box drills, learning to fly in the gymnasium, and a virtual simulator. And the rest of the day was spent playing drone soccer. So as you can see, the drones are in these encased globes.
Yeah.
They had some time to practice, break into teams, and compete.
This is cool. This is very cool.
Just a little something to commemorate the occasion.
Yeah, no, that's I can see where that's going to catch on. Just a question of marketing it right and getting the word out, you know.
Our equipment has taken a beating with all of the open sessions. We're trying to limit it to like ages 10 and up, really, just so there's some level of dexterity and coachability. But, you know, they're meant to be smacked around a little bit. They crash, you swap out the propellers, you can resolder pretty much everything unless, you know, the mainframe or CPU gets messed up.
Elevated Vision saw it at UAS, something similar to that last year.
Sweet.
Yeah. No,
You
I
went
think that
through
is so cool.
Yeah.
You have any plans on doing it again over the summer or fall?
So we have a private party booked, like a birthday party later this month. We're trying to get a 4-week program going at Tanger Outlets in Deer Park. Haven't gotten the signed contract yet, but basically Tanger would pick up the tab. That way we can set up in their central piazza area.
Yeah, that'd be a good location.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
we're excited.
Yeah. I could see that really, really becoming popular, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
We got Herman. We got another drone celebrity watching. Phantom Flight 101. How you doing, Herman? Good to see you.
Hey, Herman.
And for those that don't know it, Herman and Lawrence, they're planning a drone barbecue fly, they call it, in Brooklyn again. And I'm looking forward to going myself because I went 2 years ago. They have it at Calvert Vaux Park, and I think the date is September 23rd. And if you want to have any interest for it, get a hold of Herman, Phantom Flight 101, and he'll tell you more about it. But anyway, we got another drone celebrity watching. Tanya Gale is watching. How you doing, Tanya? Good to see you. You know, and Tanya came to the South Florida drone meetup. That's where myself and many of the other drone pilots met her. She flies a lot with Marcus Crawford, Idaho quadcopter, but it was a pleasure meeting Tanya. Actually, she went home with the FEMI Mini that I had donated. She ended up with it, and she flew that when she got back to Idaho. But anyway, good to see you, Tanya. And again, anybody has any questions for our guests, please put them in the chat. I'll keep an eye out for them. But right now, I would like to share a couple of viewer videos. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Jeff Norman, and Jeff Norman recently went and filmed the largest American flag that flies from a bridge, and that's the George Washington Bridge. And I think this is so cool. Sorry the audio is so loud, but that is a big, big flag. You can't appreciate it. But he sent the drone up and got some shots of it. And I used to live right in that neighborhood on the Manhattan side of the George Washington Bridge. Well, I know what it's like to walk across, and he was up there when they were dropping that flag. But this is great. This is a great video. Very, very nice. Very nice, Jeff. Thanks for letting
Shout
me
out to
share
Jeff
it.
Norman.
So anyway, I tell you, Jeff is quite the photographer and editor. Do you guys know Jeff? You met him, right, John, at the meetup?
Yep, at the meetup, yeah, I was very, very impressed. He taught me. Taught everybody. But I got a lot of tips from him. And I don't know if he's in the chat or not. But Jeff, I've obviously said it a couple of times now. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation you did down there.
Yes, Jeff. Jeff gave an editing and photography presentation at the South Florida Drone Meetup last year, Joe, and it was great. It really was.
The first time I met Jeff was at
Oh,
one.
so you know him also? Yeah, sure.
I've met him a couple times. The first
Yep.
time was very memorable. It was at One Police Plaza, early July last year. NYPD held a conference to hear people's grievances about
Yeah.
why the navigation law should be repealed. Jeff gets his turn to walk up, and he just looks at the counselors, and he's like, "What are we doing here? This is dumb. People are flying, and you want our money, obviously." Which they do. But, honestly, I'm glad there's a process in place now to get permits. I've had a couple successes with that and looking forward to doing a lot more work in the metro area.
Yeah. No, Jeff is a good guy. I fly with him quite a bit. Hey, Hot Rod, how you doing? Good to see you. Hot Rod in Daytona. Rod, good to see you. Um, but anyway, I don't think I missed any questions for you guys. But I I'd like to show your video at the lighthouse now, Joe,
Sure.
and you can narrate over it because that's on my list. It's been on my list for 45 years now.
I'm just wondering which
Get out
lighthouse
there.
video it is of Montauk. Oh, yeah,
So,
the holiday one. Did this late November of last year.
yeah, but that is cool.
So glad
Very
to come
cool.
around this time. I was out there that day for work while I was still flying drones for a local solar company, and I got to give them credit. They gave me a lot of flexibility, so clocked out, stayed out for sunset, worked back late when I got home, but it was so worth it to get these shots.
Definitely. It's like a dream location for me.
Yeah.
It's a little different than the Patchogue Lighthouse, that's for sure.
I haven't filmed that one.
This is a great video. Nice flying.
Thank you. It was one of the first I did with the 3 Pro.
Really, really. You got some great shots here. Lighthouses are so great to film. They really are. When I'm in Florida, I filmed the Jupiter Lighthouse quite a bit.
They're definitely one of my favorites now. I haven't done all on Long Island, but trying to put them on my list.
Very, very nice. Now, if you guys want to watch the rest of that video, you got to subscribe or go to Joe's channel.
Thank you. And yeah,
Dreamscape Aerials, correct?
What's that? Yes, Dreamscape Aerials.
And subscribed. And like I say, do it now. Don't wait until after the show. So
definitely give me a shout or a DM if you want to talk about your own drone startup, where you're at, what stage of the process you're in. It surprises people. A lot of my family and friends were like, "How did you get into this?" Because it's not what I went to school for. I frankly wish I studied film and photography a lot earlier. I actually studied psychology. I went to school up at UAlbany. Then I did my master's here on Long Island with a business focus. For those unfamiliar, it's called industrial organizational psych. So I was trained in a couple different areas, but a big part of it was organization development and business improvement. So my motto has always been trying to make work not suck. And being a drone professional, it most certainly doesn't. I like being outside. I like being creative. And even the data gathering jobs, where you're doing mapping missions or inspections, it's very lucrative and, it's an important work. So it's definitely something a lot of people are starting to get into. I think the industry as itself is expecting some huge growth within the next few years. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out with DJI potentially being pushed out. due to Skydio.
Well,
And
cross your fingers. It wasn't included in the bill, so that's a good thing right
I
now.
was very happy to see that news, and I'm not getting rid of my DJIs anytime soon. I'm
No.
counting on it to not happen. Knock on wood.
Exactly.
The best we can do is contact our representatives and get the word out.
So didn't you do a Da Vinci tutorial on that one? He
I
wanted to know.
didn't. That
Oh, okay.
was not me. I've heard there's other Joe Mazzolas out there. I don't know how many of them fly drones, though.
Hey, Trucker Steve, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's good to see everybody in the chat tonight. Really, I truly appreciate you guys watching. And I told you these guys would be great, and sure enough, they are great. So, but now the hour goes by so quick. Really, it just flies by. Um, I'd like to do the contest. I give a monthly prize away. It's only a $10 Amazon gift card. And you guys are eligible because you don't know the secret number that I have on the card here. So put in your numbers right now. And that's not number 26. Between 1 and 50. But man, I tell you, look at these guys. So no, not number 24. Not 20. Not 50, Jaybird. Not 13, not 33. If it goes on too long, I'll give a hint. But I'll say a couple of people were close. And Trucker Steve, oh boy, Jody, you're pretty close there, Jody. So anyway, no, he almost had it. Almost. You almost had. There it is. Nope. I thought I read it wrong. Nope, didn't come up. Or if I did, I missed it. But you almost had it earlier, John. Which one did you almost have, right? So anyway, oh man, look at this. It's funny. This is. I have a good time doing this, and I'm getting better at spotting the number. So, but Paul Brown used to always have to say, "Ray, you missed it. You called it wrong." But anyway, oh Jaybird, you're so close, man. Oh yeah, okay. Brian got it. All right, Brian. Oh man, no, I made a mistake. I think somebody else got it before Brian. Um, no, maybe not. Maybe he was the first 26. Brian, Waypoint, New England. Good, congratulations. So
Nice job, right?
I don't think anybody got 26 before him, but
I did.
anyway, this is starting to be rigged because he won last week too. But anyway, very good, Brian. Congratulations. But anyway, you're gonna have two entries in the hat for next month. So, but anyway, now's the time for you guys to say your goodbyes. Anything you would like to promote. So, John, I'll start with you.
I honestly, I don't want to promote anything, right? Just kind of, check out everybody else's channels and subscribe, like and subscribe. Because a lot of guys subscribe, but they don't like as much as possible. You got to get that algorithm changing as much as you can, help everybody out. But and to all the guys with the bad weather, listen, my heart goes out to you guys, and I hope everybody's being safe.
All right. Well, thank you for being on. And if you're not subscribed to John, Connecticut Pirate, do it now. Really. Thank you for being on tonight, John. I know you've been very busy, but I look forward to flying with you.
Joe, nice meeting you. Hope to fly with you soon.
Definitely echo everything you said. It would be really great to connect with everybody in here. And thank you again for having me, Ray.
No, thanks for being on. I know you're busy. You're still working, and you got to. Sounds like you had a very, very busy drone business.
Doing what I can.
On. Yeah, definitely. It was my pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much for doing a great job on my damage assessment for the insurance company.
For sure.
It meant a lot. And if you guys are not subscribed to Dreamscape Aerials, do it now, really. But everybody in the chat, thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. Um, really, from the bottom of my heart, really. But get out there, fly for fun, but most importantly, fly safely. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place, and don't forget about the Fly for Fun show on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. with myself and Johnny. And I could mention Drone Nation, but Johnny came out with the new live stream guide. So, you know, if you don't have one and you want a copy, get a hold of me or Johnny Alfonso and we'll get you a copy. And that way you can keep track of what live streams are on.
I may have another one for you to add to that. I also meet with some drone colleagues Tuesday nights at 8:30. If anybody's
Tuesday at 8:30. What's the name of it?
It's called the Drone Operators Guild. We're on Discord. I could send you a link if you reach out.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds real good. But thank you guys. Just get out there, fly for fun, fly safely. We'll see you again. Good night, everybody.
Hi, guys.